I don't have a clever intro planned for this video, and I want to get it filmed so that I can go and eat leftovers and read a book on the couch. So there's not going to be a clever intro today. Hi everyone, Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel. Last January, I did a series of 3 videos. I will link the first one up here or something, where I did an inventory of all of the series that I had started reading. And I grouped them into 3 categories. I grouped them into, yes, I definitely want to read this series. Maybe someday I want to read this series, but it's not a priority right now. And nope, I don't need to continue this series. I figure with the new year, it's about time to do a bit of a check-in. Tally things up, look at the results. Did I finish any series? Have I made any progress? Have I just started more new series than I've finished? All of that and more will be revealed in this video. Let's get that didn't go so well, out of the way right off the bat. So I'm focusing on the series that were on my yes list. Here are the series that I have not made any progress on. First, we have the Penric and Desdemona series by Lois, McMaster, Bujould. This is a fantasy series about a man who is possessed by a demon and it gives him magical powers, and he has to learn to navigate the complexities of the religious system in his world, etc. It's a series of novellas and maybe 1 novel now. I'm not sure if there's any novels yet. And I have read none of them. I'm really excited to. I do still really want to. It's definitely staying on the yes list. I just have not got to those at all this year. I also have not got to the Invisible Library series by Genevieve Cogman. This is about a magical library that links up different dimensions, I think. I read the first in this series, The Invisible Library, 5-6 years ago now. It's on this list because I do still want to read it. I do still want to read these books. I just have not made time for them yet. Then I have the Winternight trilogy by Katherine, Arden. I read The Bear and the Nightingale in December of 2020 and absolutely loved it. So I was like, I need to read the sequels. I think I might have even said in my initial series video, I need to read these sequels before the year is out because I loved the first book so much, and I haven't gotten to either of them. But I do have plans to early in 2022, so hopefully this will be a series that I will finish soon. And finally, I have the series of graphic novels, Saga by Vaughn and Fiona Staples. I still have not made any progress on that either. I want to. I think they're starting to release new ones, which I will probably compulsively buy unless I read the existing ones and realize I don't want to. I should probably do that pretty soon. Let's move on to some things where I did make some progress. I've been reading Maya Angelou's series of autobiographies. There are 7 of them. I have now read 4. 2 of those I read in 2021, so not great, but good progress. I only have 3 left, and I am in love, so I want to prioritize those. You can check out my December wrap-up up here if you would like to hear my review of the 4th in the series and see why I am so excited to be reading numbers 5, 6, and 7 very, very soon. In terms of series that were on the yes list and no longer are. First, I have Lumberjanes, which is by Noelle, Stevenson and Shannon Waters and a whole bunch of other people. This is another series of comics. It's about a group of teenage girls at a camp that's sort of Girl Scouts but way cooler, and they get involved in some magical mystery shit. I read books 3 and 4 in 2021 out of, I think there's like maybe, I want to say there's like 15 or 16 volumes now. The only reason this series isn't staying on the yes list is there's so many that it's not currently a priority. It's going on the maybe list. I'm not DNFing the series. I find them really fun, but I think I need to like reactivate my library card and see if I can get them from the library or something, because there's no way I'm gonna buy that many of them. I like them, but I don't love them enough. So maybe someday I'll get around to that, but it's not a high priority. The second series that is moving lists is the Mick Oberon series by Ari Marmell. This is like an urban fantasy private detective story. Our main character is a fae private detective in like 1920s or 30s Chicago. It's fun. I'd read the first 2 books many years ago, and I read the 3rd out of 4 in 2021. I'm such a completionist, I feel like I should read the 4th book. It's only 1 more book. Why won't I just finish the series? But honestly, I didn't really love the 3rd book. I didn't think it was that great. and now I'm not sure if the first 2 books were as good as I remember, or if I was just younger and I wouldn't like them as much if I read them now. So I'm DNFing that. I don't need to read series that I'm not excited about, and that's something I need to get okay with. The second last category I will talk about are new series that I started in 2021. I thought this category was going to be way worse than it actually is. Go me, I guess. The first in this group is the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. Maybe this is why it feels like I started like 50 new series, because Wheel of Time is the equivalent of like, what, 6 other series, because there are so many books and they are all so long. But I don't need to rush. I enjoyed the first one, The Eye of the World, quite a bit. It was fun. I'm looking forward to reading the second and third, but I'm not in a huge rush. I read the first because I wanted to read it before the TV show came out, and have I watched the show yet? No! Maybe I'll read in pace with the show. Maybe I'll get caught up and I'll read all of them. I also started the Amberlough Dossier by Lara, Elena, Donnelly. This is a much more manageable 3-book series, and I read the first, Amberlough. So I've only got 2 left, and while I don't have immediate plans, that is a series that I think I will be prioritizing fairly soon. I want to get through those probably in the first half of 2022, I think, because I really enjoyed the first. As I said last year, and apparently didn't really stick with, I don't need to let these things lie. I'm allowed to just read them. Of the new series that I started in the year, I was doing so well until December when I started 4 new series. The second of those is the Babylon Steele series by Gaie Sebold. I read the first book, Bad Gods, which I think was previously published under another title, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway, this is a series that actually came out about 10 years ago, but it's now being reissued with new titles and covers, so I read Bad Gods. There's only one other book. I don't know if it was intended to be a duology or if she just never wrote more, but either way, that works for me. I might wait on the second book though. I might keep an eye on NetGalley and see if I can get the second book there as well, because why not? There's no rush. If I get impatient though, I might just buy it. I also have 2 series that I started and finished in 2021, so I guess they're kind of like net neutral. The first of those is the Thursday Murder Club series by Richard Osman. This is a series of mystery novels that take place in a retirement community. These are so cute. I guess I actually started this in August. So I only started 3 series in December. That's not so bad. There's only 2 books in the Thursday Murder Club series so far, Thursday Murder Club and The Man Who Died Twice. I read the first in August. I read the second in December. They're great. I'm going to keep reading the series for sure, but now I'm caught up, so I can just read them as they come out. And the final new addition to this list is the An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good series by Helene Thurston. I don't know if the series has a name. That's the title of the first book. To date, again, there are only 2 books. An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good and An Elderly Lady Must Not Be Crossed, and they're both super short. I read both of them in December on audiobook. They were both phenomenal. Yet another series that I will be watching as it comes out, but I feel like it's so much more manageable to read books as they come out than it is to tackle an entire series. I know a lot of people like to wait until all the books in a series have been released before reading any of them, and that makes sense, I think, for like the big fantasy series type things where it's really a continuation from one book to another. But for things like murder mysteries or just little old ladies committing murder, I actually quite like reading them as they come out. Okay, now let's finish on a high note. I did finish some series flat out in 2021 as well, and here they are. Well, okay, this first one is sort of a finished series, but not really. And that is the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov. My goal was just to read the initial 3 Foundation books that were published in the 1950s. I know there are 4 more that came out in like, I think the 70s and 80s maybe. Plus, I think that series crosses over with some of his Robot series books. I'm not an Asimov fan. I haven't read a lot of his books, so I don't know the terminology. What I'm saying is, technically I haven't finished this series, but I've finished it enough to feel good about it for now. I like Asimov. I like his writing. He's not an author I feel the need to like be super completionist about. He's written so many books. They overlap in so many ways. I'm sure I will pick up more Asimov in the future. I don't feel like, oh my goodness, I need to read the 2 prequels and the 2 sequels and then this entire other series to feel complete. I am also up to date on the Hobtown Mystery Stories by Chris Burton. This is a series of graphic novels that are mysteries, kind of supernatural, yeah, definitely supernatural, weird, occult, secret society, society, and all set in a very small town on the east coast of Canada in the 90s. I read the second in the series this year. It was really good. I enjoyed it so much, and I don't know if a third has been announced or if a third is in the works or not. If it comes out, I'll definitely be reading that. I also finished the Dr. Greta Helsing series by Vivian Shaw. This is an urban fantasy that centers on a doctor, Dr. Greta Helsing, who is a medical doctor to the undead. Gets involved in like this weird mystery situation. I have such positive memories of the first book in this series, and honestly the second and third were quite disappointing. I did not feel that they were very good at all, so I'm not sure what was up with that. I don't know if my memories of the first are off. I didn't read it that long ago. It was one of the last books I read before starting my channel in 2020. If Shaw does release more in this universe, in this series, I'll probably read them because they're the sort of books that even when they're bad, I want them to be good. There's so much potential in them. And the other series I finished was unfortunately very similar, and that was Rather Weird by Andrew Caldecott. This I've talked about so many times, but it's set and centers on this small town called Rotherweird in the English countryside that has been completely detached from the rest of society, or almost entirely detached from the rest of society since the Elizabethan era. Technology has progressed very differently. It's a very different feeling place despite being just a little town in the English countryside. And this is also, I forgot to say, a fantasy series. I thought the first was so good when I read it in 2020. I really enjoyed it. The second book, it was okay. I thought maybe it just had middle book syndrome and that the last book would really pull it together, but no. The final book in the trilogy, again, just really fell flat. Some people seem to have loved it. Some people speak so highly about the series, talk about how the last book was phenomenal. I guess it's a matter of taste. So those are all of the series that I either didn't work on, progressed on, DNF'd, and finished in 2021. Let me know down below, do you tend to read a series all the way through once you start, or are you like me and if you're not careful, can you leave them lying by the side and never actually get to any sequels no matter how much you like the first book? And if you like this video, please leave a like down below, and if you'd like to see more of my videos, please hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.